navigation. We want to make this navbar links a little nicer. We don't want that blue color, right? So let's style them really quick. So how are we gonna find them? We said those are inside main navigation. So inside every li there is a element. So that's how we're gonna trigger it. So there is no main navigation, there is li. So now we can nest inside that li. So we can say, okay, every a inside that li, and we can style it now. We can say color white. Let's save, go back, refresh, boom. Just we don't want white actually. Let's make some. I know that this is some gray color, darker gray should be, I think. Alright, so let's say this works, but we want to give a little more margin between them. So we're gonna do margin left and right, but we don't want margin top and bottom. So let's see where. Okay, so we want margin top and we want margin left and right. We don't want top and bottom. So who is gonna do it?
We just do like auto, and then whatever we want left and right. Auto.
Okay. So
There would be 0. And
you tell me. We can try margin
yeah, I do 0.
0 for top and bottom.
Yeah.
And let's say if you do 0.5 EMs,
Yeah.
how much is that? What? How much is 0.5 EMs?
Half of the font size.
Yes, and our font size by default is 16, so this will be 8. And when we give 8 to every li, it's actually gonna be 16, right? Because
Right.
you have one li and you have another li. So you say I want for every li 0.5 left and right, so this is 0.5 and this is 0.5, but then you have again 0.5 and 0.5, so this becomes 16 pixels instead of, you just do a little kind of math. But so let's try
Can
what.
you mix pixels and M's
Yes,
on the
yes.
same line?
Yes, you can. You don't have to use M's if you don't want to. It just in some cases like this is when you do margins, it's good to use it because you don't know if people do accessibility in the phone, for example, they do zoom, it's gonna throw things off, and you're gonna hear maybe from, if your site is popular, then you're gonna hear from these people saying, man, I can't really, use your site because your navigation is all whacked up. And you say, well, why is that, and then you see, okay, they're using zoom, and then the pixels are different and all that stuff. So it's a lot of stuff when you creating team, and especially if you want to sell your teams, then you need to really take care of everything. That like all these unit test data, the dummy data that we have installed, you want everything to look nice, because you don't know what people will be using in your team. But there is a lot more to selling the teams. You need to, but these are the beginnings of that. You need to take care of all these things. So two things I don't like about this navigation. I don't like this is too dark. This border, I don't like it. It's too dark. And then I want to add border or underline when I hover over the element. So let's do that really quick. So navigation bar is the one that we added border. So let's do that. D3 is, and you will learn some of those colors that you like. So refresh, it should be lighter, so it's slightly darker than the background, right? I don't even know if this, but it's there. And then the hover, in regular CSS you would have to go all the way to the A, and you do like this, right? And then you do your stuff. But here, when you're using SCSS, you can nest, and I can say inside this, I can say like that, and hover, and then this will apply to this A inside. and I want to do now, instead of now writing main navigation li a hover, right? That's what I would have to type if I would use regular CSS. And now I just nest inside and say hover, and then I want to do text decoration. Oh, come on. Underline. Right, and then that should, now when we refresh, it should give us, when we hover over, it gives us, no, like, let's say that's the effect I wanted to do. I'm not saying it's pretty or whatever, just another example to show you how you do the hover states inside the. Another thing, whenever you do hover on a that's a tip also. Whenever you do hover on elements, if people doing screen readers, right, or they're using a tab or any stuff like that instead of a mouse, they will not see that. The hover will not show up. So if you want them to have that underline as well, you do focus also. So you can do comma and then add that focus for them, for these people, just to cover people that use those helpers stuff. For us right now, when you use mouse, it doesn't mean anything, but if you do tab, you see it shows that underline. Now I'm using tab now, so if you don't do focus, it wouldn't do it. So let's go to our WordPress loop. So to show the regular the default loop, you can go to index.php, and that was giving us all, if you remember before we started editing, it would give us all posts with all the content, everything listed one after another. So this is doing it right here, and I'll just explain. I think I did that in second class or something like that, and you guys were complaining, so I stopped. But we'll do it again, so you can complain again. But it's just important. It is complicated at first, right, on the first glance, but it is it makes sense when you go in and start reading it like this. It says, okay, does this page or does this site has any posts? So if it has posts, then it goes forward, right? And then it says, okay, is this page home or is it set as a front page? So if it is, then it will display this header with a single post title. So it will bring that post title first, and then it will start the loop. It says, while there are posts, give me the post, which means do this for every post that exists. So it gives you access to everything for every post. So you can say, okay, for this first post that I'm getting in, get me the template part from this folder here, template parts, and then content, and then this is the content type. We're not gonna worry about that right now, but open that template file, and we can find it in the template folder. Open it there, and we can see, okay, it's gonna open article. This is where WordPress is dynamic, right? So it's gonna open that article div in the element. It's gonna open the header, and then it's going to bring the title. The title is a WordPress function that brings you the title of the post. Everything that you write when you go to your post, let's open one post. So this is title right here. So when we go in our code and we say the_title, it will show us this, whatever it's written in this title here. Then it goes down below, it says class tutorial post thumbnail, what Bilal was saying. It will bring us this featured image or post thumbnail. And then the content is all the content inside every post. but it's called loop because it's gonna do the same thing for every single post that we go inside. But we can create custom loops where we can set some options. We can say, okay, give me only 3 posts, and then give me the latest 3 posts, and then also give me only the posts that are tagged with a specific tag, right? So you can do custom things like that. You can say, okay, give me the posts only, give me the latest 5 posts from this author only, or from this category, and you can bunch of different things. And of course we go back to WP query, and it will take us to our old good codex. And here, when you open that, this long page gives us everything that WordPress query can do. Some things from here are performant, some are not. If you add a lot of stuff and if you want to show like 1,000 posts in one page, it's gonna take a little bit to bring them back, right? If you have big images like Bilal's, then if you do more than 5, it's gonna take a long time.
I'm looking at it. I'm in the settings on the media page, and it's got a thumbnail size 150, medium size 300.
But it depends. In the template file, it might be calling the full size image, though. You don't know. You gotta see in the code what it's doing. You have those media types available, but are you calling them in? And you'll see. I can show you that right here now. So this is a standard loop right here, and this is like alternate. You have multiple loops, then all the properties for every loop, and we're gonna do our very simple, but again, it's going to be what we need to achieve in our design. So we want to show 3 posts with their post thumbnails, with their feature images, and we want to bring the title of every post, and we want to bring the excerpt or part of the content of every post. This is what we want to do. So the first element, we go back to our front page, and we are done with this developer section, which was this section right here. We called it developer section. I don't know why, but doesn't
My
matter.
template is pulling from like 17 different pages.
Okay, that's a
I would
good
have
theme.
to go in and see each and every one where it's pulling from.
Yeah, you gotta. It depends. Every team is different. That's why I'm saying when you build your own team like this, you will know exactly what you're doing. And but yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it. It takes time to figure out somebody else's work, right? So let's start with this. We want it to be centered in the middle. We don't want it to be full screen. So we're gonna use Bootstrap 4 class, which is container, right? Container is the one that it's shorter width and it's centered. Then container fluid is the one that we used up there, right? To be the full screen. Remember that part. So that's the first class we want to do. And the second one, we want to have some unique class for ourselves to be able to use that class when we do CSS. So let's call it featured blogs, for example, and let's make it autocomplete. In Atom, you click Control E. You just do div with dot right after you do class, and you can do multiple classes. If you want to do ID, you would do like this. This is ID, and when you click Control E, it's gonna autocomplete. So it builds wherever you put dots, it's gonna build classes. Wherever you put pound, is gonna build ID. So this is very useful. Instead of writing it, you just do this part and do Control E. It's called Emmet, and it knows what to do. On Windows, it's Control and E. In Atom, it might be even Tab on Windows. Not sure. One of those two. So we said we want to have Jumbotron that is gonna say featured posts inside, so we can create again Jumbotron class div with a class Jumbotron, and we want to call it let's say h3, and also you can do h3 tab, and it open and closes the tags for you, and you do featured blogs. Save. Let's refresh our front page, and there it is, the Jumbotron we wanted. So we see that it's flat to our previous section, so we want to do a little bit of margin there. So we want to do, let's say, so our featured blog class, we want to add margin 1, or let's say 2 ems for every section. We want to separate in 2 ems. So let's do that. Custom CSS. We said our element is called featured blog. We added this custom class, so we can now point to that one and use it. Margin top, we want to do 2 ems. Save. Let's refresh, and there you go, we got a little bit of space there. Okay, so now we want to do below this, we said we want to now loop. So to display these 3 posts, we need WordPress custom WordPress loop to do that, or WordPress query to pull these 3 posts for us. And we need to prepare the posts first. Have you heard of lorem ipsum? Yes? No? Lorem ipsum is from like lorem ipsum is from, I think, Roman time even, or something Latin. Yeah, it's a gibberish text. Doesn't make any sense. There is something like hipster bacon or something with the interesting stuff, but you can just say, okay, give me 2 paragraphs of something, and it gives you 2 paragraphs of some text, right? So you want some content. You don't really want to write that much in your posts, so you want to
I've seen like
kind of
commercial websites filled with lorem ipsum.
there are some plugins that it can be inside your WordPress you can generate, but we're just gonna use it now. We will not use that. We could change some of these posts, but we said we want this to be tagged as a featured posts, feature blogs. So let's create one blog really quick. First featured blog, just so we can see the order of them. That's why we're gonna name them something stupid like featured blog, and we want to add featured image to every one of them. So let's add this one, for example, and publish this post. Okay, we forgot, we want to tag them, and we want to add tag. This is where you do it. We want to add feature blog. That's gonna be
How
tag.
important are tags?
So this is what we want to do. We want to organize our site. Let's say we want always to have 3. Let's say you have 3 most popular blogs on your site. People just love to read them, and you decide you want to show them on the front page. So how are you gonna do it? You can just
Category.
you can do category, but
But search engine optimization prefers tags, right?
that's correct.
It's not nice.
And then you can just add tags. You can still put them in that category if you want, but the tags is kind of easier to achieve what we need in this case. But both ways would work, right? And you can explore further to see which one as Google will like better. I never researched, I can't tell you that, but I would, in my case, how I would do it, I would add tags. It's just faster for me than doing categories. I think categories is a little slower query on a database in the backend of WordPress. It's a little slower than tags, but it's still is doing a lot of calls though. But anyway, let's do tags for now. So we're gonna tag all those 3 posts that we want to display as a featured blog. For example, let's say those are your already existing posts and blogs, and you know that people like them. You just go in and add those tags, and once you do the code that we're gonna do, they will display. So let's add 2 more really quick. So let's do second. I can't type today. And then let's add additional, and let's just remove or change the order so they are a little different than the other one. So let's do, and now since we already used it once, it gives us the same. We just start typing and it gives us like autocomplete. We add this tag, and then we want to add some image, publish, okay, and then one more. We do third blog. Let's generate really quick another like 3 paragraphs. Oops. Paste that, add the tag, featured image. Why I'm calling it featured image? Because we were talking about featured images, right? That's fine, we can.
Saying that because you probably already have that tag.
No, that's the first one I used there, but it doesn't matter. Let's see, we can check, because you can go into posts and click tags.
So it's probably the dummy data.
Those are all tags that are coming with dummy data, but we should see ours as well. Let's search featured. Okay, so I call them. You see, there's 5 count. Yeah, you're right. So let's go and create different ones. So
what I don't like about tags is that when you're working on a website with multiple people working on it, you get like redundancies, people make the same tag twice with gaps and short letters, and it
okay, so
makes it harder for people to access content.
featured blog. I'm creating a tag now so I can use it. Name is featured blog. Slug is usually lowercase, space replaced with a dash. You can describe here, this is the tag for the front page, whatever you want to describe. We're not going to describe right now.
Slug is the URL it goes to?
Slug is something that we're going to use when we, for example, do the query. We say, okay, show me all the posts with this tag, and then what you're going to use in that option is slug, is not the name. It's kind of, let's say, stuff that you do inside the code, for example. And we want to go, I'm sorry?
Can't you add tags in quick edit?
Here?
The quick edit.
Yes. Yeah, you can do that too. I mean, it doesn't matter. This is the old, like the slowest way, the way I did it. But just so you can see where you can build tags also. There are several ways you can do that. So featured blog is now the one actually that we want to use. So let's just tag all the 3 posts that we wanted. We're gonna remove the other one that I used by mistake. Featured blog, because featured images already was there from dummy data.
Yeah.
And then third blog, move this and then do featured blog. Okay, so now we have our 3 posts that we want to show as per our design here. Let's say you would get this design right from someone and you need to do it now in the site. So how you would do it? We refresh, there's nothing, so we go back to our front page, and now we start using our let me see real quick. I think we can copy and start from there. So yeah, we can copy the standard loop for now from the codex page. We just copy this part of code. This is all PHP, so it will be in one div that it's called, for example, so we already have blog, we say featured content, let's say, and inside here we wanna, so this featured content is wrapper around this, right? This is our featured content right now. So now our loop will do this part. We want the loop to do this thing. And since it's PHP, we need to open PHP, and then as soon as we are done with it, we want to close it. And then just do a little bit of indentation. So this right now doesn't do anything, but we'll go over what it's doing. So the query is, we're saying this variable d_query will have everything that this WP query will give back. So everything that you say, okay, I want only this stuff, whatever stuff comes back, it will be stored in this the query variable. And these arguments inside here are the options that we want to say. And let's set them first, because we know exactly what these arguments, we exactly know what they should be. And that's gonna be array of options. This is the PHP array you had in last class. And then we know that we wanna bring all the posts that have tag, which is what? Now you use the slug for the tag, and it was featured blog or blogs. What was it, blog or blogs? What did we use? Blog, right? Was it blogs or blog? Let's check it. So we need the tag, the slug now. So it's featured blog. So now back in our code, we want to say, okay, so those args again, those are the options that we say. So we say, okay, WordPress, give me back all the posts that have tag featured blog. Okay, and then that's not all. We say comma, and then we do the next one. So we say now we want to order by, and then we want to order them by post date. So this will order them by the time they are created, right? But we want to say, do we want the newest on the top or the oldest on the top? So that means ascending or descending, right? The order of it. And
so
then
tag and order by are arguments within WordPress.
Within the query. So you see this line right here? It says, okay, run new WP query. So run the new query. And then you say, okay, I want to run it with these options. And these options we are setting above in front of it, right? And then whatever comes back from this, save everything inside this variable. So here you can write all those different crazy stuff. You can say, okay, give me only the category stuff, right? Or okay, give me only the tags, or give me only whatever you come up with, right? There's the whole that paging codex. You can go and see what are all the options that you can say. You can say, give me per page. If you have something that will bring 100 posts, you can say per page 5, and it will give you only 5. It's not going to give you the 100. That when you start thinking about performance things, if something is very slow, probably querying too much stuff. So, but that's later, right? Right now we're just learning how to use the loop, or how to create something, how to tell WordPress to bring us back certain posts, but we want to with the options, right? We want to limit it with options. We don't want to say just bring me all the posts, and it gives us, if we have 1,000 posts, it's just gonna list them 1,000 of them, right? We want to limit stuff, and this is where arguments. You can name this anything you want. By default comes args. So we want to do this descending, right? So this should give us the newest on the top. If it's not that, then you do ascending, which you do this. And similar to the color, I don't trouble to remember. I do it this way. If it's not that order, just do it the other way, and it will be the one. So this should give us the newest on the top. But anyway, so now we start with the actual query. So now we told WordPress to give us back everything that matches these options. And we know in our blogs that we only have those 3 blogs that we just set up, right? And they will come back and be saved inside this query. So here the loop starts. So we say if whatever came back have any posts, then keep going. If doesn't, else. So this if is all the way up to here, and it means if whatever comes back, if it has posts, right? You see, have posts. This is WordPress function. If have posts, do this part. If doesn't have any posts, then do this. In case we go and we remove that tag from all the posts, on none of the posts have tags, it will bring nothing, and we want to cover that situation. So we want to just display some content here. Let's say we do p paragraph, we do echo. We are inside PHP, that's why we need to echo, and we want to echo no posts found. That will show up in case there are no posts with that, with this. Nothing comes back with these options. But if there are posts, it will keep going. So what it's doing right now, for every post, so we know we have the first post, so this will be the first one. It will run this code for every single post that matches the options. So the first one will create, in this case by default that we copied from Codex, is doing UL unordered list tag, and then it will get that post object, everything that it's inside that post itself. So it will start this part. It will have title. It will give us access to everything that this post has, including the image, everything. So this is where it starts here. So while this query have posts, so as long as there are some posts, keep doing this thing. As soon as there is no more, go forward, right? So inside this while, it says, okay, give me the post. So this here, right here, this line says, okay, give me the post, means give me access to all those post values, the title, the content, the image, the category, the tag, everything. And then echo list get the title function will just display the title of the post. And then when there is no more posts, you see this is closing right here. So it's doing this while there are posts. When there's no more posts, just close that URL that you open on the top. And WP reset post data is very important because it resets these options, so you can further down on our page, if you want to display if you want to use this query again, but with different options, you can do it. If you don't have this, then WordPress will still use these options, and then you add another options, and you'll see why these other posts are showing up when I don't need them. This because you need this line right here. And you don't need to know all this stuff, right? We just copy from Codex, and now we're gonna start changing it. I just walk you through line by line what it's doing. So let's save and see if anything comes up right now and how it looks like. So from this code, it should bring us these 3 posts, but it will just display the title of every post inside the unordered list. So let's see if that's true. We refresh, and there they are, the titles of the posts. And that's all it did, UL and then LIs for every one of them, and just the title, that's all it did. But we need more. We need the featured image, we need the title, and then we need the excerpt, which is like 50 words of the content. So let's try to do that. So we would change these things right here. Let me see how I had it set up here originally with because we don't really have time too much. So in front of before we even start, every post we want to have a certain div right here, right, to cover that every one. So the loop will go through every one of these, and we want to kind of structure it really quick. So we say let me see, query the post, yeah. Okay, so we don't need an order list. This thing here we don't really need because we're not gonna use that. We don't want that. We want the regular divs to be displayed. So here we don't want LIs as well. So from this line right here, when it says while there are posts, so which means we will do this part for every single post that brings back, and this deep post gives us access to every element. And now we can say we want to use HTML a little bit now, so we're gonna close PHP here, but then we need to open it back up there so the PHP can work. And now in between we can use regular HTML. So we want to open a div with the class of row, bootstrap class row. If you put bootstrap class row as a wrapper around things, you can then, so if this div has class row, then inside you can use the grid system of Bootstrap. You can say, okay, I want this div to be column 6, and I want this to be column 6, and Bootstrap will split them in half. But you can also do column 10 and column 2, and remember Bootstrap is 12 grid system, so it's always 12. So this is how you can do. And you can also, what is very powerful, you can say something like this: call MD10 and call MD2, and this will be 10 proportion tends to 10 to 2 in the width, right? So it will give you 10 times bigger here and then 2 here. But when you add MD, it means keep this grid system all the way until you get the medium size width of the screens, and as soon as you go less than that, it will put them one under each other. So this covers your mobile phone, because on your mobile device, if you still have 10 and 2, that 2 is gonna be all crashed. So when you say MD like this, it means when it gets to mobile, it's gonna just stack them like this, right? It's gonna stack them full screen, one after another. And that's, in regular CSS, you would have to do media queries and, okay, this size, that size, whatever. What is the breakpoint? Is it 800 pixels? Is it 740? And Bootstrap is already up to date with those things, and you should just use those. So in order to use those columns, we need to have row around it. So that's what we're doing here, row, because remember our design, we're gonna use call 2 for the featured image and call 10 for the content. So, and this is real stuff. You will get design like this, and you need to kind of figure out how to use grid system to achieve that. And you just get whiteboard like this and start writing stuff up, and you come up with those columns with the grid that you need to use. And now let's say we want to do that. We want to have our custom class again, so we can point to it later. Let's call it exert, and we're gonna use Bootstrap class align middle, which will align the content in the middle. Let's complete that. So what I did earlier is just created all 3 classes at once. So now we are wrapping that one post right in a row. So now we can okay, now we want the image. So let's create this div right here where we're gonna pull the featured image in. So let's say div, we said we're gonna do call MD2 which means it's gonna keep grid system 2 from medium devices and larger. As soon as it goes smaller than medium, it will be full width. So that's what we want to do. As soon as this, we don't want to squash the image on cell phone to be very, like 2 is a little, it's very small. So this will be our featured image. So let's just write like this, placeholder. And now we want, next to it, we want to do the 10 one for the content. So let's do call again medium 10, and we said Bootstrap is 12 grid system, and then here we're gonna do the content or the excerpt actually, and this is just placeholders again, and we're closing this div, and then we don't need anything else here right now. So we say while there are posts that matches these options above, do this thing for every single one of them. And if we have like 10 of those right now, we don't have bring me only 3. We will bring all of them. In our case, we only have 3. But if you add more posts with that tag, they will all be displayed. So eventually you will want to limit that to 3 or 5, but for now let's leave it open like this, and it will do this part for every one of them. So we should now, when we save this, we should see 3 divs like that with the placeholders inside them. So we will not see any content from any of the posts. We do have access to them, but we did not do anything yet. So there you go, you see this, there it is, that's 2 and this is 10. And if you hover, if you inspect this, so let's move this up. So there it is, there is the row with that new class that we created, align it middle, and there it is, the call MD2. When you hover over, you see what is the width, just 2 in proportional of 12. 12 is the whole width, 2 is 1/6 of it, right? And then there is the placeholder that we set featured image, and then when you go down, there it is, you see the MD10, it's this much, and that works for us. All we need to do now is to just say WordPress to use those template tags are called, like the content function will bring you the content, the title will display the title of the post, and so on and so forth. There's like tons of them. We can't cover them all, but you'll see use of 3 of those right now. So let's do the featured image first. Actually, let's do the excerpt image is a little, and I won't be allowed to be here to see because he was talking about that earlier, right? So the excerpt, it's the function, it's called the_excerpt, and by default you can change that, but by default WordPress will bring you the first 50 words of your post, or 55, one of those, around 50. But you'll see now what we're talking about. So to use PHP, we need to open PHP first, right? We open and close the tags, and then we say the_excerpt. That's it. And just before we see what it's doing, let's read really quick what we should do every time for everything that we're doing. We go to the WordPress codex or this new developer resource, and you can see what it's doing. And at the beginning, the excerpt displays the post excerpt, and you can go down and see some of the, so there it is. For example, if you do this in your functions PHP, you copy this code, actually this you can limit it to 20 words. You see, there it is, it says by default excerpt length is set to 55 words, but if you don't like it, you can override this using this function, and from now on your WordPress theme will bring, whenever you call the excerpt, it will bring you 20 words instead of 55. But let's save this excerpt and see what is happening on the front end. Let's refresh. Okay, final error. On line 45, 44. Let's go. Let's debug for. I probably excerpt. You were waiting for me, Jim, huh? You didn't see I misspelled. You didn't catch it this time? Oh man. Okay. I think I got it. No, I didn't get it right again. See, this should be the right word we're looking for. And then refresh, and there it is. So you see what it. So those are the beginnings or every of the posts that we have. But it's only 50 words, and it gives us this little thing here. And next class we will create a plugin. Okay, we're gonna create a plugin where these 3 dots right now they're nothing, they're not doing anything. It's just like indicating to the user that there is more content there. Next class we'll create a WordPress plugin, our own plugin that's gonna replace this and make it to be a button that says read more, and when you click goes to that post and open and people can read, because that's what you see everywhere, right? You see it doesn't make sense for us to display all this stuff. We just want to do a little bit of glimpse or excerpt of the post and let them, if they are interested, they want to. And another thing, for maybe if you didn't play for a lot with WordPress before, right now our function, the excerpt, will cut 55 words from the beginning of the post. But you see this section right here? You can type custom stuff, something that is more catchy, right, to make people to click on that post. You can write it here and show that instead of cutting the regular content. But for right now, that's what is happening. And then, so what we are missing here is the title, right? We said we got this part working for our design. We got this part working. We have the excerpt showing up. We want the title to show up in front of it. So we need to, inside this div column 10, we want to do let's say h4, and then we want to display the title. And if you go to Google and say the_title function, and you can read what it's doing, and it says displays or returns the unescaped title of the current post, which exactly what we want. We want to return the post, and you can see, for example, right here how it's doing it. So this inside the parentheses is before and after the title. So the title will give us the post title right here, but then we can say in front what you want to wrap it with, h3, h4, and you don't have to do it. There's 2 ways. We can do it like here. We did h4 already, so inside we can do just the title. So let's open PHP tags and we do the_title wrap, and this per documentation it says it will echo out the title of the post. So let's save, go back to our front end, on the front end, and there they are. They showed up, the titles, right? So we now want to bring in the next thing. We want to bring the image, but we want to bring specific size, right? Below, remember
You
that?
have to give it a command.
Okay, so look, it's called the_ post thumbnail. You come here, you click this, and you will see what it's saying. It says display the post thumbnail, but you have this size and attribute parameters. So by default, those are that WordPress come from. So if you say the post thumbnail in the parentheses, it will bring you back 150 by 150.
Exactly. That's why I'm confused.
Yes, but we don't know what is in that template page in your team.
It was this section.
Is it like this?
Yeah,
Okay.
they have it in the
So that is gotta be 150, and if 150 is just your site was slow at that moment, or the Wi-Fi is slow, something is here. So let's say we want to do none of this works for us right now, so we can do even custom one if you want, but it's a little, we need to add it to functions PHP, we don't have time. So let's say we like 150 by 150, that works. Let's copy this.
One is saying it's hard cropped.
Hard cropped means it will not really care about the proportion or anything, it's just gonna cut. If your image is like wider than it's taller, it's going to be a little weird. And you can fix those things with more options, but you can read all how to use this here and then try use it differently in your theme and try bring your featured image of the post differently and play with those options. You see here you can add even classes, you can do size, and you can do size as a 100 and then comma and then 100 and will bring you 100 by 100, but then you can also control it where to cut it, from the top, from the center. You can play with that, just create something like this. And right now we want to do, we said we want to do the post thumbnail and then thumbnail. And is there an example inside? For example, right here you see they're creating a link that is gonna, that if you click on that image to take you to that post, which makes sense, people will do that for sure. They will click on the image expecting to go to that post. I just want to bring the image first, so we save that. We are setting it inside that call to, because that's where we want to do it per our design. This is where we need to display that post thumbnail. And let's go and refresh. Boom, there they are, every post thumbnail for every of the posts, right? So far so good. We're doing what we said we're gonna do, right? We said we're gonna do Jumbotron feature blogs, we're gonna bring the title and the excerpt for every one of them. We're doing that. We want to do call to. So this, what I was describing right here, call medium to 10 and call medium to, it means if we just say call to and call, let's do that. Let's just do call to and call 10. Those are Bootstrap classes, so it's proportion 10 width per 2 width. So if we do this, refresh, nothing happens. But if we go smaller screen size, go all smaller, look what's going on. It's still trying to keep that 2. Where is it? Like that 2 and 10. It doesn't really look good anymore, right? So we want to say, okay, Bootstrap, whenever somebody passes that medium, which is probably around here, you see how it changes, so probably this is medium breakpoint. So as long as somebody is using device or screen with a smaller than this, do both those to be full width, so I can see everything nice, stack them above underneath each other. So let's change this to MD2, and you can do LG SM, which will be, if you do SM, it will be small size and up. MD is medium and up, LG is large and up for like Retina displays, the big ones on Macs or something. So you can explore those because you might need them differently. So we save that. Let's go back full screen, refresh. Nothing changes on a big screen, but now we're getting smaller size, smaller width, and boom, it went now to be under one, like stacked. And then we noticing that this is not, this call MD2, it's not centering the, we would like that image to be in the center, for example. All you do, you just add class, Bootstrap class text center, and this should center it right there. And you go back, here is centered because there is enough space for it, right? but we want to cover that small size. And you see when we scroll up and down, you see this is the fixed size of the navigation bar. It's always stays on the top. And this background we set up fixed in our CSS. Remember that when we did the URL here in the CSS, right here when we did fixed. Let's remove that fixed to see what happened. That's the image, this image in the background. We scroll, the image scrolls with the background. But when you do fixed, the image will stay as you scroll down, right? It's kind of, if you look that effect, if you want to do that effect. So we got our design, and we did what we need using WordPress custom loop or WordPress query. Does it make sense? Yeah?
Yeah, it does make sense.
And I would recommend you to try it yourself, and try different tag, for example, or do the category if you want, and just do those options there and copy this code, and you'll see what's going on, and just try it out, and you will really see how it's working. It's not that you don't have to really know PHP to use it. We went line by line, cover it, so it's not much. It's like 5 lines of code, but it's very powerful what it's doing, and you control it with these options here. If you want to limit to 3, or you just do per page and you do 3, and this will bring you, no matter how many posts you have with that tag, it will bring you only the 3 newest ones, and it bring you 3 newest ones because you have that order by post date. And that's pretty much it for now. We started, as we promised, to create our front page. So for next class, create your front page at least this much, and you don't have to stick to this design. You can make it your own, whatever you want. Just try to bring the title, try to bring something that makes sense when someone comes to your site, what you want to do, you know. This area, you don't have to have hero image to be the background. You can just have something to say. This was just I tried to cover several different examples to give you an idea, and I just tried to do it that way. And next class we'll do links, so we want people to be able to click on the image or on the title, and that takes them to the blog posts, so they can read about that stuff. And we'll do create a plugin to do this thing here, and then we will have to set up a little bit that single block template page to look nicer, and that will cover a lot of our final project. Let's say that your portfolio site, that you can just keep repeating those same things later for every other template, and you will have your page up. It's just a matter how you want to organize it. That's all. I can't really. It's endless the way you want to do it. So it's up to you and your design skills or ideas. I don't know. Okay, guys.